Yeah, okay, come, let's get started. Yeah. So, from last meeting, the infrastructure pipeline has been moved to the Runtime CI project so that we can create pull requests more easily. Carson has done this. Yeah, no big change. The image with the G-Cloud CLI had to be updated so that these managed GCP tasks work again. This is also done. So basically they've moved this particular image to a new repository and gave it a new name. Yeah, it contains the latest G-Cloud CLI and jobs work again. Let's make the easy stuff first. Bosch bootloader plan patches for an external S3 blob store. I think Ruben has just merged this commit 1 hour ago. So this is if you want to have an external blob store for your bubble environment, then you have to adapt the Terraform files a little bit. We have already used the updated files for our environment. Yeah, so this is, but now it's also in Bosch bootloader. Yeah, then maybe this point, Carson brought this up last time. Bosch bootloader uses the new cost-saving VM types, but the Bosch deployments don't. I think I have not fully understood the point, or maybe there is none. There he is. Welcome, Carson. Can you hear us? Not yet. You're still, oh no. Hi, welcome. Just in time. We're discussing the point that you brought up last time, that Bosch bootloader uses the cost-saving VM types, but the Bosch deployments don't. I may not have got this correctly. So Bosch bootloader creates a cloud config, and I've checked the history for GCP and AWS, and the cloud configs have already been updated to modern and smaller VM sizes. So we should be using the cost-saving VMs. But I have not checked the exact cost of the ones that are listed here.
I think those are fine. If I remember correctly, the issue was that these changes were only made in Bosch bootloader, and Bosch deployment maintains its own list of VM types that are still all like the old kind. For the most part, it doesn't affect us. I think the only one that we've had to override still is the Bosch Lite VM type.
Okay, you mean, now get it. Now I slowly get it. You mean this submodule with, where is it?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, I have not checked that one.
Yeah.
No idea where the cloud config. Oh, okay, good. 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yes, Okay,
Yeah.
but we do not use that one, right?
We don't use it. So it's usually fine, except
Yeah.
for I think the GCP one has like a
6 years
Bosch Lite
ago.
VM type. Yeah, that's
Okay.
7 years old. The Bosch Lite VM type one up, that's 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, it was in that folder. But that one we actually do use and have to override manually.
This one
Yeah,
in one standard 8. Okay.
we override that inside of Snitch to E2 standard 16, I think.
Dev, no. Test snitch config Bosch line VM type. Okay. Good. Now I
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Okay. So indeed, although we are not using those directly, it would be nice if someone updated to more recent VM types. Okay, but that's
Probably not worth us doing, but maybe we
no,
can raise it
we have
in another
enough
form.
other issues.
Yeah.
Okay, good, but I can take a note and ask in the Slack channel if someone could take care of that. Okay. Good. Yeah, experimental setup still fails to automatically deploy the Route 53 resources with Bubble. So in total, the state is now that all our Bubble envs are up and running. The pipeline is running. So this is all fine. Infrastructure, the automatic update, which runs every Tuesday, is also fine, except for our single AWS environment. Here, the automatic update is paused, but everything else is running again. And here we are struggling. Is Dave in? No, it's not in the call. We are struggling with, here is coming. This particular template. And for the experimental environment, I worked around manually by deleting things that cannot be deployed from the template and fixing the stuff in the AWS console directly. So that's fine for the moment. So hi, Dave.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry I'm late.
No problem. Just in time for your issue.
Yes. Did you see the update I posted yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, the problem is here, maybe so for everyone, let me show what this is about. So this is about the automatic DNS setup for an AWS bubble environment. So it creates all the CNAMEs and A records you need. And what is really confusing, but slowly we are getting some clarity on it, is that we have here two scenarios, with and without parent zone. So let me briefly explain. I think in the other pull request I commented, and I also asked our routing guys for help. So one scenario is that the parent zone is specified. In our case, or for the performance tests, we also have a bubble environment that would be bundle subcloud IO. And if you configure this parent zone when you do a bubble up, then it does not create a new zone. Instead, it adds these 4 records to the existing zone. So you get CNAMEs for the load balancers and an A record for the Bosch instance. So one can do this, then your zone might contain a lot of records if you have a lot of bubble environments and they are all in one and the same zone, but this is working. There are actually no disadvantages except that it might get large over time. Now, if you do not specify a parent zone, then Bubble tries to create a new zone named like the given system domain. So in this example, it would be cf.perfTest Rails bundle subclaw.io. This would be an entirely new zone. It would get the C names and A records. The tricky thing is now that it would get separate. I think I can show you if I have not messed up everything. The tricky thing is it would get separate name servers, which you have to copy over to the parent zone.
You have to wire the child zone into the parent zone, yes.
Sorry, what?
You have to wire the child zone. You have to tell, so DNS delegation, you have to tell the parent zone how to forward traffic to the child, yeah.
Yeah. So, so this is our performance test setup. So this is now with an own zone, and you get a set of name servers, and you have to wire those to the parent zone that is copying this over.
Yeah.
It looks then like this. So here is a new record. It has the same name, so it's this one. And here we have the 4 name servers from the other zone. And the point here is, Dominic explained that from the routing team, if the zones are managed by different teams using different credentials and users, then this might make sense.
Right, or even if it's a different DNS provider.
Or maybe if, yes, we have that too. We have sometimes a mix of GCP and AWS, then yeah, you have to do the same, yeah.
Right.
Good. This automatic wiring is not yet implemented in Bubble. For that, we have in our performance tests a small helper file like this. So you have to specify the parent zone ID, and then you can create an NS record, the record I just showed with the system domain name, and you can, like this, copy the name servers from the, so to say, the output of the Bubble Terraform stuff. Right. Works for us, is not yet perfect, but now before fixing everything, we should first try to fix what is really broken at the moment. Where is the whole? I wanted to show. Yes.
Oh, it's this one, yeah.
Yes, it's this one. So where I really got, severe. No, this is. I wanted to show the original file. Give me a second. Bootloader. Was it AWS? No.
Right, Terraform first, and then AWS.
Terraform, AWS, templates.
Yeah.
So this is the current file. What's really causing a lot of headache is for example just this piece of code here. So you have a list with an empty string, you convert it to a list, then you use a list literal again, and then you convert it again to a list, just to flatten everything later again. And there are a few problems here. One is I discovered that, so this is a ternary operator, and even if this is not executed, Terraform still tries to access this piece of this data structure, which is not present. And so it's quite a headache.
I was going to ask about that. Presumably the same thing's happening for the zone ID on the line above it. Because you didn't.
Maybe it happened here. It could have happened here. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
the original issue we talked about was specifically the name servers. So that's why I was a little confused, because I'm like, well, if it's working for the zone ID, it should be fine for the name servers. But if it's not working for both, then that would make more sense.
Yes, yeah, I'm not sure if I could reproduce this accurately, because I messed around with Terraform states all day.
Not a problem.
So what somehow worked for us is so I tried to throw it away and start from the beginning. So what seems to work quite nicely, if you just copy this ternary operator logic again here to these local variables. So if we do not have a parent zone, then we take the zone ID from the new zone, just plain and simple like this. And if there is a parent zone, we take it from the existing one, accessing the data structure. So it worked for both cases, but I can't tell for sure if it's now 100% correct if you start from fresh again. But it's at least it looks a lot easier than what we have now. Also trying to avoid any unnecessary type conversion by splitting a comma separated string and then doing a list from that again. Yeah, I built a development bubble executable with that, and I was at least able to bubble up our performance test environment. Yeah, to be perfectly sure that this works, would have to do bubble destroy and bubble up again. Can do this. Takes a bit more time. Oh, so now it's back again.
I was cutting out.
And this does not seem to be necessary because if you create a zone, you automatically get an NS record, to my knowledge. Yeah, and this worked here. So this I took over from you, Dave, the proposal with the one, and which is a bit, of course, a lot easier than converging back and forth. So okay, so that's what I would like to ask you. Kindly review this. Where is my chat? Don't have a chat. Oops. So, meeting chat. So kindly everyone review the pull request if it's okay from your side. And then we can propose this as a solution. Yeah, any questions on this? Dave is dialing in again.
Let me see if this is stable now.
Yeah, okay, so any questions, comments from your side on this?
I didn't get to hear any of that explanation. I'm afraid my Wi-Fi was completely out. I may have appeared to be here, but I wasn't. I could see, based on, I'm assuming this is an alternative PR that you've created?
Yes. Yeah. So I also tried yours, but with this one, but didn't accept. Then I think one of those was empty or null or something.
Well, that's supposed to be what the try is supposed to handle. It's supposed to try something and return you the first non-null value from that.
Yeah,
but that didn't. Okay.
But sadly, it didn't work. So that's why I have proposed a slightly different solution. So starting from 0 again, and then just writing as much code as necessary to get it running. It worked for both cases, with and without parent zone. But of course, as I messed a lot around with the Terraform state, I can't tell for sure. Would have to do a clean bubble destroy again and then bubble up 2 times to see if this is really working. This here with the 1 in the ISO sequence, this seems to work fine. And this I've deleted because it was already there, so it's probably not needed. If you
that's strange, because the Terraform docs for the AWS Route 53 zones say that you need to create that yourself, which is very. I'm not sure why that would already be there if either the docs are out of date or something strange is going on.
You create a zone.
So here, I just dropped a link in chat to the docs that I'm looking at.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it just says when you create a zone, you'll need to create an NS record as well as the zone.
Okay, that would be something we had.
So I'm not sure. I'm completely misreading this. This is basically just telling you that you've got to wire it into your main zone. I think that's what it's saying. It's just telling you to create a record in the parent zone. So yes, you're right. This is fine. Ignore that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm misreading it.
Yeah.
So yes, that is now unnecessary, it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that Terraform handling these kind of sort of conditional resources has come a long way since 0.11 when all of this was written, and that it now better handles this sort of setup where it's not necessary to mess around with creating lists and flattening them and concatenating them and picking the first element out of them again and all of that kind of nonsense. And yes, it just works. So that's fine. I think that would be a much cleaner solution if it worked that way.
Good. Then we are trying to verify it with a clean bubble destroy and bubble up again, and would propose this as final.
Nice. Yeah.
Solution. Yeah, it's really challenging if you don't have a good programming language with strong typing, then you get such a mess with a mix of lists and strings and comma separated strings. And this is really challenging. Okay, but the good news is all the other stuff is working, so it's really just this DNS template which is causing trouble.
Right. I put a note on my PR about you mentioned having an example plan patch for wiring in the new zone into the parent zone.
Yes.
And I think we could do that. It would be nice if it worked regardless of which IaaS you were using, and the only challenge there is that for some reason that presumably different people wrote them, the different plan patches for different IaaSs use different outputs for the name servers that you need to wire in. So we'd have to try and standardize that so that you could have one plan patch that didn't care whether it was GCP or AWS or Azure. It could just take the output and create the parent zone or create the parent record for you. Because right now it would be a different one for each. So I'm not sure whether that's worth undertaking or whether, like you say, it's just, here's an example. If you're using AWS on both sides, this plan patch will work. If you're using some other combination, you're going to have to craft your own.
Yeah.
But this is here as an example of how to do it.
Yeah. I think we can definitely propose this for AWS as it's working, but for other combinations, we leave this as an exercise for the reader.
Right.
Yeah, there's no idea if it works between other combinations. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. And yeah, we would have to specify the parent zone ID.
Yes,
Okay.
which
Oh,
should be always be a string. So that part's easy. I think the problem is line 12 is retrieving the list of name servers and knowing where that's coming from.
yes. Did I open the right file? Yeah. So you see, this is the template, and here what is red is not is undefined. But
Mhm.
here, if you do Terraform plan and apply and all this stuff,
Mhm.
you get it in a working fashion, and
Now
here
it's
you
happy.
see
Yeah.
it can be resolved. It's
Right.
certainly not perfect, but okay, it works. I didn't.
Mhm.
We also have here some outputs defined, but I think I can't reuse this in another template. Okay, good,
Yeah,
fine.
no.
So then we will verify the pull request, and then in the next step, I can propose this little plan patch for
Yeah.
wiring domains.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So we could also go ahead and close my pull request at that point in favor of yours. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, it's I borrowed one of your commits and then put one
Sure.
one on top. Yeah,
Okay.
good. Okay, once we have the pull request, they will have to build a new bubble release. Then we can cut a new CF deployment concourse tasks image, and then Stefan, we can integrate this into the performance tests because they use a fixed version of CF deployment concourse tasks, and so this might take a little longer until we have a final release, fully released solution. Good. Okay, anything else on DNS? If not, then we move to the next point. Yeah, okay. Am I still sharing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. We have finally released CF deployment without CF Linux FS3. So with version 30, FS3 is not included by default anymore. If anyone still wants to use the deprecated stack, then we have provided this large ops file, which adds everything you need back again. And yeah, we would keep this ops file as long as there are updates for FS3, which is right now still the case. There are quite frequently new versions coming in. And only when there is no update anymore, then we can also finally remove the FS3 ops files. There are now, I think we have 2 or 3. Yeah, something for setting FS3 as a default stack. And here, this tiny thing, if you want to use trusted certs for this Diego identity stuff. Yeah, good. Was a bit tricky because we had to move from base releases to ops releases. This is now where the FS3 update is happening, and then you don't have any pre-compiled releases. So we had to move it out from this use compiled releases ops file. But okay, that's not much of a concern for the consumers of CF deployment. Pipelines are green again, so everything is running fine now. Good. Yeah. Any questions on that?
No, looks good.
Okay. FS4 is updated very frequently, and yeah, we are still waiting for the FS4 compatibility release, which adds Python and Ruby again. Yeah, but this is not for our working group.
Is that something that we're going to want to have available via an ops file to add in? Or what is
Yes,
the plan there?
I've seen one or two people also complaining about this sudden incompatible change. Don't know from where they are, but yes, others also noticed that Python and Ruby is suddenly missing. So yes, we could add a simple ops file, and that replaces the default FS4 with the compatibility, and possibly also have an validating that one in yeah, one of our scenarios.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Good, but right now there's nothing more to do. Then the last point from my side. I think we still, I noted this 2 weeks ago. I think we still have a GCP project that is not migrated. CF relint concourse. I think it's used for storing the compiled releases, right? And I think also for uploading Bosch logs of failed deployments. And I think we talked about this already one time.
That sounds familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's right. Not sure how we move the compiled releases over successfully, though.
There was something, or Carson, you wanted to start with that, and then it wasn't. It proved to be too difficult or something.
I think I just wasn't sure how to do it, because we'd have to shift the whole pipeline over, and then probably at the same time shift the bucket over, which we can do. We just have to be really quick about it, because we'll lose the bucket name as soon as we unclaim the bucket.
Okay.
So it's just like a little bit of like a risky operation. Also,
what does that do for historical releases?
We should be able to copy them all over, and because buckets have unique names, they shouldn't be tied to any
I see. The actual URL that is in the release doesn't actually reference CF relint concourse. Okay,
I think so.
It just references the.
We may need to mess with the permissions, because presumably maybe we still have some, like a service account somewhere that's tied to CF relint concourse.
I think it's this one.
Yeah.
Concourse
right.
GCP service account. Yeah, I think this is tied to the CF relint concourse project.
And it looks like the logs are going into Greengrass. Because that so there's
I think
but I think that's probably less of a concern. We could just switch that to use the working group concourse, and we don't need the historical logs for anything. It's purely there if something fails for teams to debug real time. So
this is not critical.
Throw those away.
But here I was wondering.
Right.
I think component bump logs are actually going to CF deployment working groups now. At least that folder is owned by CF deployment working groups.
636 seems to imply that it's still using a Greengrass service account. I don't know.
We may have just changed what's in there. Changing the name.
Yeah.
Got it.
But either way, the concourse one, I guess we're gonna need to change the pipeline and the folder pretty close to each other. So maybe pausing the pipelines, moving the folder over, updating the pipeline, and then unpausing the pipelines makes the most sense. Or having the update to the pipeline ready to go, then pausing the pipeline, moving it all over, and unpausing.
I mean, presumably the only change as far as the pipeline is concerned is just changing the service account.
Yeah,
Pausing the update releases pipeline is not a big
which I
issue.
guess we could do in
We
real
could
time by just also,
updating Vault.
yeah, exactly. Or CredHub.
Right.
CredHub, sorry,
Actually,
yes.
Yeah.
Is it CredHub or is it Vault?
No, it's CredHub. This is the concourse
Okay.
CredHub.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we need
Didn't
for
know
the
whether
new,
CredHub was available on Kate. Okay.
oh, not the new, an existing service account. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
If we wanted to
But-
make it easier to switch, we could do that with a different variable name and update the template with a different variable name.
Mhm.
I don't know whether that's easier or not. But yeah, the tricky thing is getting the bucket moved over. I'm assuming that Google doesn't have any nice tools for transferring buckets to different projects.
They
I have
didn't
something.
last time. They did not last time I did this.
Okay.
They have nice tools for transferring data in and out of buckets. But if you want to actually move the bucket between projects, the like pathway that we've been following, which was established during the Great Last Pass issues, was rename, or was like make a backup bucket in the new destination, transfer all the data to the backup bucket, delete the old bucket, and quickly recreate a new bucket within the new folder. I don't think you can even rename buckets, so you have to like do multiple transfers, which kind of sucks. Or you have to like yeah, I think you have to do multiple transfers from what I remember.
Bucket move
configuration.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
not up to date.
So anyway, we can have a go at it. I can have a go at this, since I've done it a couple times.
And this other project, transferring the ownership of the whole project, is that an option, or is there something else inside?
Transferring the ownership of the project, like what do you mean? I'm not sure I understand.
I mean, transferring this to the working group.
Oh, I guess in my mind, it would just be create a new bucket in the working group, transfer all the data in, and then quickly delete the old bucket and create a new bucket in the working group project with the same name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if yeah, good. I mean, transferring ownership is likely challenging. Yeah. Oh, okay, good, fine. Then could you explore the possible options, and then we have to decide which one to take?
Sure. I can type something into Slack about the possible steps we could take, and we can always find time to pair on it if you want as well.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
gonna say I have time tomorrow to pair on it if you want. That's
okay. Cool.
Okay. But this time it's then really the last thing that has to be migrated. Unless we dig out more.
There's a few other things that are in this concourse project. CF deployment compiled release logs and CF deployment stem cell bump.
Yes.
I don't know if we still
Stem
use
cell
those.
pump.
Yeah. A cloud storage bucket called stem cell, CF deployment stem cell bump.
Huh.
It was added like 3 days ago, or modified 3 days ago.
Oh,
This one. Okay, now
I think this is literally just a file that we write that tells you whether it's a major or minor bump. So there's no data to lose there. I think we just create a new bucket in the working group and
Okay.
if we want to try and maintain the name, we can delete and recreate.
Okay. Sounds like that's not as big a deal, but there is theoretically 3 buckets to move over
Right.
from this one, not just 2.
Yeah, I was just reading Doc saying we should probably spin up a GCP VM and just use the GSUtil tool to transfer files so that we're not taking the data out of Google to incur massive network ingress egress costs.
Is that better than just using their native transfer data out and then selecting like a different Google storage bucket?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that to see how well that works.
Okay. Yeah, they've got a native. We can look at it later, but they do have a native within the bucket, like transfer data out option, which has a specific tab that lets you select GCS buckets.
Which hopefully
I would be
avoid all the
shocked and upset if that took it out of the network.
But from a financial perspective, it would make perfect sense for them. So you never know.
Yeah. If Chris calls me that the bill is too high, then we made something wrong. Okay. Good. Yeah. So these were all my topics. Any other business?
Oh, it looks like some of the stale branch jobs have been failing just because there's some protected. Yeah,
there is a stale branch. Yeah, well,
I might be able to delete those actually, but there's the update releases stale branch one, which should manually delete stuff. Can't delete stuff because it's protected.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
There's some like protected branches.
Indeed, yeah. I noticed this quite some time ago, but put the topic back for now. Yes, it should clean up stale branches, but it's not compatible with the current branch protection rules.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe it's a leftover from the old branch protection. I mean, we had this bug in the branch protection rules that found every branch that had a V inside. But that's fixed meanwhile. That may mean you just go with admin rights once over those branches, removes the branch protection, and from then on it should work. But there should be no new branches anymore get protected unless they are the main branch and real version branches, which we don't use, I think.
Okay, this is.
Can try it out with one and see.
Okay, I can do this. Can I do this now, or do I reveal all of my credentials? No. Okay, let's have a look. See if settings, branches. So, and now we.
For some reason, yeah, those bottom two.
Wasn't this just more? So
I think it's only complaining about one of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It probably fails on the first one.
It's only complaining about Java because it's got a V in it.
Yeah. That's the rule was not perfect.
So if you delete that branch protection rule and the manual merge stem cell update one, I think we'll be good to go. I think
Hang on, you're saying that
the rule.
it made it because there's a V in it?
There's a regular expression to find version branches, and it's V and then a number, arbitrary length number. Even 0 is allowed. Okay, so far so good. But the match was not a full match, so from the beginning to the end of the line, but just find it in the string, and that was a misinterpretation because the documentation of this branch protector tool is not that.
How do I disable this?
I think you can just delete the rule.
Delete the rule completely. The whole.
If you go back to the list and you can just delete it from there.
I just deleting the branch, but
no,
this is the protection rule that you're deleting here, not the branch.
Okay. Yeah, now got it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So delete. Delete the rule. Okay.
Always security. This is good.
This is good.
And you can do the same thing, I think, with the manual. Do we need the manual merge stem cell rule or no?
I don't think we need it.
No.
It was merged 2 months ago, so I guess not.
Can be deleted as well.
Can also be deleted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We need main and develop and release candidates. This is something. Yeah. You might want to have. That's good.
All right. I need to drop to go to stand up. It was good seeing you all. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Wow. Green.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a result of a workgroup meeting, right?
Yeah. Green pipelines. We love them.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good. Bye-bye. Anything else?
No.
See you all later.
Then thanks for attending. I will update the meeting notes tomorrow, not today. And see you again soon.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.